Hello friends, welcome to my channel B.Ed Education by Arshia. In this video, we will study about the Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay, this is helpful for you in your theory exam also and also in your CTET exam also. Okay, so we will see the Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay. So, let us unlock the secrets of Piaget's cognitive development theory. Here we are going to see the table of contents that what we are going to study. First, we will see the introduction to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, then sensory motor stage, then pre-operational stage, and then concrete operational stage, and then formal operational stage, and then implications of Piaget's theory for CTET and B.Ed exam. Okay, so here we will see the introduction. Okay, so what is the introduction of this Piaget's theory? Okay, welcome to presentation on Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist who is known for his groundbreaking work in the field of child development. His theory has a significant implications for CTET and okay, sorry, this is wrong. Not a second. Okay, so his theory also has a significant implications. Okay, so let us see. Piaget's theory proposes that children go through four stages of the cognitive development, each characterized by distinct cognitive abilities and limitations. In this presentation, we will explore each of these stages in detail and discuss their practical applications for educators and exam takers. Okay, so here this Piaget's theory, it is having some stages for cognitive development. Means the cognitive development is will take place or is taking place in children in some stages. Okay, so here each is characterized by different cognitive abilities and limitations. Okay, and here each stage of cognitive development has uh, means in that stage, in each stage the child will develop his different cognitive abilities. Okay, and there will be some limitations also for the cognitive development in each stage. Okay, so here let us see about first stage of the cognitive development of Piaget's theory. Okay, so the first stage is sensory motor stage. Okay, so what is the sensory motor stage? The sensory motor stage is the first stage of Piaget's theory of cognitive development, which lasts from birth to around 2 years of age. Okay, means this stage starts from birth and it lasts around 2 years of age. Means when the child will be of 2 years, at that time this sensory motor stage stops. Okay, so here during this stage the infants learn about the world through their senses and motor action. Okay, so here how the infants, means these small children, will learn about the world, means how people will interact, how what we have to eat, what we have to touch, what we should not touch. In this manner the child don't know anything about the world, so the child will learn about the world through his senses and motor activities means physical activities. For example, you might have seen the child, if that child sees any object, then first what that child will do, he will take that object and put that object into his mouth. Means from this he will check whether how what is this material, what is the taste of this material, like this. Okay, like this means from his senses. Okay, like seeing, touching it, then tasting it, hearing it. Okay, he uses all his senses and also his physical activities. From his physical activities, what he will do, he will gain the knowledge, or he will gain the understanding about the world. Okay, they begin to develop object permanence. Okay, so in this stage, what the child will do, he will begin to develop the object permanence. Object permanence means which is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they are not visible. Okay, for example, if a toy is hidden under a blanket, an infant, okay, for example, if a toy is hidden in a under a blanket, an infant in the sensory motor stage will search for it because they know it still exists. Okay, means here object permanence, what is this object permanence? In this stage, in sensory motor stage, they will begin to develop the object permanence. Object permanence means the child, for example, if you put your hands on your face and you will cover your face from your hands, and then you will remove and you will tell to the child, oh, then what the child will do, the child will laugh. Okay, why he will laugh? He means if the object permanence is not developed in that child, that child thought that your face disappeared when you put your hands on your face. Okay, and then when you removed your hands from your face and said ow, then what the child thought, he thought that oh, the face was disappeared and it appeared again, like that the child will think. Okay, means the child, if he is not having object permanence, means what he will think, for example, if you hold a banana in front of the child, okay, after that what you will do, you will remove that banana from the child, means from in front of the child, and you will hide it. At that time what the child will think, the banana has disappeared, some magic has happened, like this he will think. Okay, but when object permanence is developed in the child, when you show the banana, the child knows, okay, the banana exists. Okay, when you will hide the banana under the blanket, what the child will think, he will think that he will not think that magic has happened and the banana has disappeared, but he will think that yes, banana is there but it is hidden under the blanket. Okay, like this the child will think. Okay, so this is what sensory motor stage. Okay, another important concept during this stage is the development of schemas, which are mental frameworks for organizing and interpreting informations. Okay, in this stage, what the child will do, he will develop the schemas, which are mental framework for organizing and interpreting the information. Okay, infants create schemas by assimilating new information into existing schemas, or accommodating existing schemas to fit into the new information. Okay, so here, for example, a child may have a schema for dog that includes all four-legged animals, but they will eventually accommodate their schema, exclude cats and other non-dog animals. Okay. So here let us see what is the schema, what is accommodation and all. Okay. So here first let us see what is the schema. Okay. Wait a second. First, let us understand what is this schema and all. Okay. Object permanence, you understood now. Object permanence is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they are out of sight or no longer present in immediate environment. Okay. What is object permanence? Okay. What is object permanence? Let us see. Okay. Object permanence is the understanding that object continue to exist even when they are out of sight. Okay, when they are out of sight means which are no longer present in that environment, in that immediate environment. Okay. Okay. For example, let's say we have a game with Maya. Okay. Initially, if you hide a toy behind a blanket, what the Maya will do? Maya may believe that the toy has completely disappeared. However, as she develops the object permanence, she will begin to understand that the toy still exists behind the blanket and may actively search for it. Okay, or try to remove the blanket and find it. Okay, this is object permanence. Hope you all understood this. Okay, so in the sensory motor stage, what we will see? We will see schema. Okay, schema, assimilation, accommodation and all. So let us see what is the schema, assimilation and accommodation. Okay. Okay, so now first let us see about the schema. Okay, so let us assume that in schema, what is schema? Schema is nothing but the, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, schema is, what is schema? Schema is the set of, schema is the set of mental structures. Okay, what is schema? Schema is a set of mental structures or pockets of information or existing knowledge. Means schema is nothing but existing knowledge. Means for example, if you have and schema or existing knowledge of a bird as a creatures that can only fly. Okay, suppose you have the knowledge that birds are the creatures that can only fly. Okay, then that is what your schema. It is what the packets of information or existing knowledge that everyone has. Okay, for example, if for example, let us think a small child is there and he is having the existing knowledge that birds can fly. So existing knowledge is only what a schema. Okay, now these are mental structures. Means in our mind, schema is a mental structure that is in which the information is arranged like a almirah. Okay, means in different sections. For example, in this first section, science means the knowledge or information of science is present in our mind. Okay, and in another section, the knowledge or information or schema of SST is present. Okay, and in another section, the knowledge or schema of what English is present. Okay, and in another section, the knowledge or schema of Hindi is present in our mind. Means our mind arranges or organizes this schema or information or existing knowledge into as a schema in different what parts. Okay. Okay, so hope you all understood the schema. Okay, schema is nothing but the knowledge of something, means the existing knowledge of something. Okay, that is nothing but what a schema. Okay, hope you all understood it. Okay, so now we saw about this. Okay, so now let us see what is the schema, adaptation, assimilation and accommodation. Okay. Okay, so now let us think first what is schema. Schema is nothing but existing knowledge. Okay, we all know this. Okay, so schema is what? It is existing knowledge. Okay, schema is existing knowledge. Okay, so here in adaptation, what we will do? Updation of schema. Suppose in schema the existing knowledge is that the birds can fly. Okay, or suppose with okay, the existing knowledge is that birds can fly. Okay, now the child is having a schema that birds can fly. Now here adaptation is what? Updation of schema. Okay, means here the child, what he will do? He will see an aeroplane. Okay, and aeroplane is also flying. Then the child will tell to his sister that see there, the bird is flying, means actually he is looking at aeroplane, but he is having this schema or existing knowledge that anything that flies is a bird. So when he sees the aeroplane, at that time what he will say, see there, the bird is flying, he will say like this to aeroplane. Okay, so here adaptation means updation of schema, means here the the child's sister, okay, the sister will suggest to his brother, okay, suggest to her brother that no, that is not aeroplane, that is a bird. Okay, so here what the child should do now, he have to update his schema, means he is having the schema that anything that flies is a bird, but he is seeing the aeroplane and he is thinking that that is also a bird. Okay, so now he have to update the information, or he have to update his schema that the aeroplane is not a bird, but it is an aeroplane. Okay, means everything that flies is not a bird, you have to update that. Okay, so here this updation is adapted by two processes. Okay, one is assimilation and another one is accommodation. Okay, so what is this assimilation and accommodation process? Let us see. Assimilation means adding any information to the existing scheme, means the child is having an existing scheme or existing knowledge that everything that flies is a bird. Now he have to add another information that aeroplane is not a bird, means everything that flies is not a bird, so aeroplane is also flying but it is not a bird. Like this the child have to add this information in his existing schemes. Okay, so this is what assimilation. And next is accommodation. So what is this accommodation? Change or update of existing schemes. Okay, so accommodation means he have to change or update his existing schemes. Okay, means here the child added his means the child added the new information in assimilation, okay, in his existing scheme. Now the child, what he is going to do, he is changing or updating that existing scheme. Okay, now child added the information in assimilation, means child added the information that aeroplane is not a bird. Okay, so here in accommodation what you have to do, you have to update his existing scheme that everything that flies is not a bird, so the aeroplane is flying but it is not a bird. Like this the child have to update his existing scheme. Okay, so this is nothing but schema, adaptation, assimilation and accommodation. Okay, hope you all understood this. Okay, so here another important concept during this stage is development of schemas, which are mental frameworks for organizing and interpreting information. Infants create schemas by assimilating new information into existing schemes or accommodating existing schemas to fit new information. Okay, for example, a child may have schema for dogs that they include four-legged animals, but they eventually accommodate their schema to exclude cats and non-dog animals. Okay, here another example you can see. Now suppose the child is having a schema that dog means if it has four legs then that is a dog. Okay, this is the schema of that child. Okay, now the child will see the cat. Okay, then that child will tell to his sister that see, means he is seeing the dog, but he will tell to his sister that see there is a what a cat, because he is having existing knowledge that anything that has four legs is a cat. Okay, so now when he sees a dog and he will say that see there is a cat, now what the sister will do, she will tell no, that is not a cat, that is a dog. Okay, so here what the child will do, he have to, means he will fit this new information in his existing schema, means he will add this new information in this in his existing schema that that is not a cat. Okay, that is a dog. Okay, this is what This is assimilation. Okay, now in accommodation, what he will do, he will modify. Okay, what he will modify, he will modify that the cat, he will exclude cats and other non-dog animals. Means he will what he will do, he will add the information, or he will update his existing schema that that is not a cat, it is a dog. Means everything that has four legs is not a cat only. Okay, the cat is also having four legs and dog is also having four legs. Okay, like this what he will do, he will update his existing schema or existing knowledge. Okay, hope you all understood this stage. Okay, so this was all about sensory motor stage. Okay, so now let us see next stage. Okay, what is next stage? Next stage is nothing but pre-operational stage. Okay, so what is this pre-operational stage? Okay, the pre-operational stage is the second stage in the Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay, it is a second stage. Okay, occurring between the ages of 2 and 7. Okay, when it will occur, it will occur when the child uh, is in between the age of 2 to 7. Okay, during this stage children develop symbolic thinking and begin to use language to represent objects and ideas. Okay, they also become more imaginative and engage in pretend play. Okay, in the pre-operational stage, what the child will do, he will develop this symbolic thinking. Okay, so means he will pretend to play. Means he will engage in pretend play. Means for example, the child will imagine a classroom. Okay, and he will think that he is a teacher. Okay, and he will imagine the students. Okay, and he will imagine the students and he will start teaching them lessons like a teacher. Means he is pretend, he is in which activity he is engaged, he is engaged in pretend play. Means he is imagining. Okay, the teacher, actual classroom and actual students are not present there, but he is imagining that, or he is imagining that the students are present there and the classroom is also there and the teacher is also present. Means he is imagining himself as a teacher and he is playing. Okay, this is what a pretend play. Okay, so here symbolic thinking is nothing but imaginative and pretend play. Okay, I will explain it in another way so that you can understand it easily. Okay, so here what is this symbolic thinking? Let us see. Okay, symbolic thought is the ability of a child to use symbols such as words or objects to represent other things that are not physically present. Okay, means here the child what he is doing, he is means symbolic thought means the child is having the ability, okay, to use the symbols, okay, such as words or objects to represent other things that are not physically present. Means mm, from that symbols, what the child will do, he will represent the things which are not present. Okay, for example, let us see a child is using a banana as a means pretend telephone. Okay, means the child is having a banana in his hand but he is pretending or imagining that that banana is a telephone. Okay, so he will hold that banana to his ears like a telephone because he is pretending or imagining that banana is a telephone. Okay, in this scenario what the child is doing, he is using the banana as symbol to represent a telephone. Okay, even though it does not actually function as one. Okay, this demonstrates their ability to understand. Okay, means they will use the symbol to represent something else. Okay, so this is what a symbolic thought. Okay, however child in this stage still struggle with certain types of logical thinking. For example, they may not understand that adding or subtracting something from a set does not change the quantity of a set. Okay, they may also struggle with understanding the concept of conservation, which involves recognizing that amount of the substance remains same even if it is poured into a different shaped container. Okay, so let us see what is this. Okay, so here the child may not understand that adding or subtracting something from a set does not change the quantity of a set. Okay, So here what will happen, adding or subtracting something from a set does not change the quantity of set. They may also struggle with understanding the concept of conservation, which involves the recognizing that amount of substance remains the same. Okay, for example, let us see what is this conservation. Conservation means here the child will struggle with conservation. Okay, means they will understand, means they will struggle to understand the concept of conservation. What is conservation? Let us see here. Okay, so suppose let us think this is a container. Okay, this is one container. Okay, and this container is having the capacity. Okay, this container is having a capacity. Okay, let us, okay, this is a container. Okay, okay, this container is having the capacity to hold 10 ml of water. Okay, and this is another container. Okay, and this is also having the capacity to hold 10 ml of water. Okay, now we will pour 10 ml of water in this container, and also we will pour 10 ml of water in this container. Okay, now when we will ask the child, okay, which container is having more water, then what the child will do, the child will say that this container is having more water because it is long. But the child don't know that this container and this container both are having same amount of water, but the shapes are different. Okay, means this is what conservation means. Here the child is not able to recognize that uh, regardless of the shape or size, regardless of the shape, the containers may have what, may contain same amount of water. Okay, means the child can't understand that this is wide and this is long, but they are having same water, they can contain same amount of water. Like this the child can't understand. He will think that this is the wider one, but it is looking small because it is not long, and this is longer one and it is looking big, so it is having more water. Like this the child will think. Okay, but he can't understand that both are having different shape but has the capacity or ability to contain same amount of the water. This the child can't understand. Okay, so he will struggle with conservation. Okay, in this stage. Okay, hope you all understood this. Okay, okay, and the child also can't understand that adding or subtracting something from a set does not change the quantity of the set. Okay, suppose let us say, okay, this is an container. Okay, and what we will do, we will take a glass. Okay, and here already some amount of rice is present in this glass, some amount of rice is present. Now what we will do, we will add this. Okay, what we will do, we will add this one glass of rice into this container. Okay, now here we added. Okay, this is one glass of the rice. Okay, now what we will do, we will remove this. Okay, what we will do, we will remove. Okay, we will remove this glass, means we will remove the rice, one glass rice from this container. Okay, now what we did, we removed. Okay, now we removed. Okay, and then what we did, we added. Okay, we added another glass. Okay, means here we added one glass of the rice and we removed one glass of the rice, but here the quantity of this rice is same only. Okay, in this container the quantity of rice is same only, but the child can't understand this. Okay, means we added and we removed, but what the child will think, there is still some extra amount of rice in this bowl. Like that the child will think. Okay, okay, so now let us move to the next slide. Okay, so this was all about the pre-operational stage. Here the symbolic thought will develop and the child will struggle with the conservation. Okay, next is a concrete operational stage. Okay, what is this concrete operational stage? Let us see. Okay, so concrete operational stage, the concrete operational stage is the third stage in the Piaget's theory. Okay, this is the third stage. Okay, occurring between the ages of 7 to 11 years. Okay, when this stage will occur, it will occur in 7 to 11 years. Okay, during this stage children develop logical thinking and are able to reason about concrete objects and events. Means here the in the concrete operational stage, okay, what the child will do, they will develop the logical thinking. Okay, means here they are able to reason about the concrete objects and events. Okay, they also begin to understand that their thoughts are unique to themselves and others may have different thoughts and perspective. This is known as a decentering. Okay, one example of this is when a child understands that a taller and narrower glass can hold same amount of liquid as shorter wider glass. Okay, another example is they understand that if you pour a water from a short wide container into a tall narrow container, the amount of water still remains same. Okay, these real world examples help children to understand the concept of conservation, which is the key characteristics of a concrete operational stage. Okay, so in previous stage what we saw, in previous stage we saw that the child will struggle with the concept of conservation. Okay, but in the concrete operational stage the child will, here the child will not struggle with the concept of conservation because he starts understanding the concept of conservation in the concrete operational stage. Okay, so here what the child will think means how he will gain the conservation. When he will gain the conservation, he is able to understand the concept of conservation, that if a container is tall. Okay, suppose a container is tall and narrower. Okay, a container is tall and narrower and another container is short and wider, short and wide, but both can have same amount of water. Okay, both can have same amount of water, that is 10 ml. Okay, this the child can understand this. Okay, so here the child will gain the concept of water conservation. Okay, and another one is the child will gain the decentration here. Okay, so what is decentration? Let us see. Okay, centration means the child focuses on only one aspect of a situation and neglect other. Okay, for example, a child may judge the amount of juice in a tall glass to be more than the amount of a wide glass despite actual quantity being the same. Okay, means I told you example na, I told you example of these containers. Okay, one is long and one is wide, means the child is focusing on only one aspect. That is what is that aspect in which the child is focusing? The child is judging the amount of juice in tall glass to be more. Okay, he is only focused on one thing, that if something is tall then that is having more juice. Okay, if something is tall then that is having more juice. Okay, if something is tall then that has what, more juice. Okay, only in this, only in this one aspect the child is focusing, but there is another aspect also. Okay, if this is tall and this is wide but both can have the same amount of water. Okay, this is another aspect, but the child is not focusing on this aspect. He is focusing on only one aspect, that if something is tall then that is having more juice. Okay, what is another aspect? uh, this is a wide, but it is also having the, it is not tall but it is wide. Okay, it is not tall but it is wide, so this is also having the same amount of water juice. This is another aspect, but the child can't focus on this aspect in a pre-operational stage. Okay, but in this stage what the child will do, he will gain decentration. Decentration means he can focus on both aspects now. The child can focus on both aspects. That is, okay, this container is tall and narrow. Okay, it is having the 10 ml of juice. Okay, even though it is tall, okay, it is having how much? 10 ml of juice. And this container, it is wide. Okay, okay, it is not tall, it is short, but it is wide. Okay, so this is also having water, 10 ml of water. Okay, this is another aspect, means here the child is focusing on both aspects. Okay, so this is what decentration. Okay, when the child is able to focus on both aspects, that is what decentration. Okay, so the child will develop decentration in this stage. Okay, means seeing any object or situation with many aspects. Okay, by including many aspects or uses. Okay, that is what decentration. Okay, hope you all understood this stage also. Okay, so now let us move to the next stage. Okay, so what is the next stage? Okay, sorry. Okay, okay, this is a another stage, that is a formal operational stage. Okay, so what is this formal operational stage? Let us see. In the formal operational stage, what will happen? Formal operational stage. Okay, the formal operational stage is the final stage in Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay, this is final stage. Okay, typically occurring from age of 12 and beyond. Okay, means this is occurring after the 12 years. Okay, means it is occurring at from 12 and beyond age. Okay, during this stage individuals develop the ability to think abstractly and hypothetically. Okay, means in the concrete operational stage the child will develop the ability to think concretely. Means if something is present in front of the child, then he can understand it. Here abstractively means imaginative thinking. Okay, even if something is not present in front of his eyes, but he can imagine it and he can understand it. That is called as what? Abstract thinking. Okay, so here in formal operational stage abstract thinking is developed, and allowing them to reason logically about complex ideas and solve problems in more systematic way. Okay, means here what the child will do, he can think logically here. Okay, for example, a child in formal operational stage might be able to understand a concept of algebraic equations even if they has never encountered them before. They can also think about multiple possibilities, outcomes, making predictions based on hypothetical scenarios. This type of thinking is essential for scientific reasoning and problem solving in the fields such as mathematics, physics and engineering. Okay, here in formal operational stage what will happen, the child will develop abstract thinking. Okay, what the child will do, he will develop abstract thinking. Okay, abstract thinking. Okay, abstract thinking means even if something is not in front of his eyes, he can understand that. Okay, for example, algebraic expressions. Okay, we can't see algebraic expressions in real. For example, when we say about apple, okay, suppose let us take easy example. Okay, now here I am showing you apple and I am telling that this is apple. Okay, what is this? Which type of thinking it is? It is concrete thinking, because I'm showing you apple. Okay, and I'm telling you that this is an apple, so this became concrete thinking. Now what is abstract thinking? Abstract thinking means here I am not showing you apple. Okay, in abstract thinking I am not showing you apple, but rather than showing, I am telling by mouth that this is an apple. Okay, so what you will do, you will develop the picture of an apple in your mind. Okay, without showing, I am not showing the apple, even though you are developing the picture of apple in your mind, then this is what abstract thinking, because you are able to do hypothetical reasoning. Now you can imagine that apple in your mind, So this is what abstract thinking. Okay, hope you all understood. Okay, in this stage what will happen, the abstract thinking will develop in the child. Okay, this is what formal operational stage, and it will start from the age of 12 and beyond. Okay, okay, here the child can think logically. Okay, hope you all understood this stage also. Okay, so now let us move to the next slide. Okay, so here we will see the implications of this Piaget. Okay, so now here we will see the implications of Piaget's theory. Okay, so where this is used, let us see. By understanding the different stages of cognitive development, teachers can better design their curriculum to meet the needs of their students. Means from this theory what we can do, we can design the curriculum easily, because from this theory what we will come to know, at what child, how the child is developing, and what the child is capable of, what are the abilities that child is having at the particular age. Like this all we can understand from this theory. Okay, they can also use Piaget's theory to identify potential learning difficulties and provide appropriate interventions. Okay, so here we can also identify the learning difficulties and provide appropriate remedies or solutions to those difficulties. Okay, so furthermore, Piaget's theory emphasizes the importance of active learning, hands-on experience in the classroom. Okay, means it also shows us the importance of the hands-on learning. Okay, and also experience. The teacher can incorporate these principles into their teaching methods to create more engaging and effective learning environment for their students. Okay, so these are the implications of Piaget's theory. Okay, okay, so I hope you all understood this theory. If you all understood this theory, then do kindly share, subscribe, and like my channel. Thank you, one and all.